What are we doing it on?
Sounds dirty.
All right, here we are. It's season 3 of that podcast you're listening to right now, which is Eat, Drink, and Be Scary, which has not been recorded in a year and a half, if not more, because what, March?
Longer.
Yeah.
Almost 2 years.
Yeah. Well, May. There was a little thing I don't know if you guys heard about. It was called the pandemic. And we actually did a few from our phones. We zoomed in, and then after that, no, that was it. So cool. Welcome back, everybody. So I guess we should say hi to you. We have with us. We have Tonya, and we have Tom, and Ryan, and myself. This is Bill. And a new addition, because a lot of stuff happened during the pandemic. We should catch up on. We have a new dog here. Her name is Tracker. And she's like my finger because we're eating the podcast, which we call Eat, Drink, Be Scary. And because of that, we're eating some stuff. And Ryan, tell us a little bit about what we're eating.
We are eating 6 different types of cheese, some sausage, and crackers we found.
And why crackers? Well, hold on. I guess we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Well, I'll start off with the cheese part because our story is based in Wisconsin.
And it's cheesy. and then we're drinking what?
Blue Moon.
So, Blue Moon and Moonies.
Okay, so it's so a little hint of what we're talking about tonight. Although if you read the description of the podcast, you probably already know.
Got some meat here.
We have meat, we have cheese in Wisconsin, we have blue moons here. So we're talking about werewolves. All right, well,
That's not where I was going. Yeah.
and I guess we're talking more than just werewolves. We're talking about the Beast, Bray Road, the Wisconsin werewolf that people have been talking about for a while. But at first, let's kind of catch up a little bit of what's been going on. Ryan, let's start with you. It's been a year and a half since we've been doing this. What have you been up to?
Tom and I opened up a barbershop. Good time to open a business during the pandemic.
You can only go up from here.
Yeah. And no one's ever bothered.
Right.
And that turned out to be really great. We're doing really well. In the old 1936 radio building. It's haunted. So
You want to talk about that a little bit? About the haunted part?
So we just had a lot of strange experiences. We've had people from touch, things move, from voices.
Yeah. I mean, constantly thinking of moving. Constantly, I'll come back and all my cones are in one place when I left them in a different place. And then just recently, this last weekend, we came back and our candy machine was broken. The globe on the candy machine just completely cracked the whole side of it out. And it was standing where it was. It hadn't fallen down. It didn't fall over. Our upstairs neighbor said that she heard something really loud. But we didn't get it on our little Ring camera or whatever, so.
And then the voices that have been heard there quite a while. It's pretty interesting.
Mm-hmm. It's a 1937 radio station building, in case you're interested. KFXD.
What about you guys? What's new with you, Bill?
I made a movie. I made a feature-length comedy called Fugued Up. So a script that I wrote 4 years ago, and then got in the hands of a producer, and we made it actually during the pandemic. It's a story about a young man who's shot in the head while driving an Uber. When he wakes up, he has no memory of it. He just might be a serial killer. It stars a few people. It stars we have Joe Estevez, who's Mark Sheen's brother. He's in it. We have the Soup Nazi, Larry Thomas from Seinfeld. He's in it. Jan Broberg, who's pretty awesome, and a couple other really great actors. And we shot that. It's feature-length comedy. It's off to festivals right now. See what's going on. And actually, we're shooting another movie in less than a month. One that I wrote called TV in Bed. Oh, and it stars Rick Kosnick, who's on The Flash, Vampire Diaries, and stuff like that. Really good actor.
Who's he on The Flash?
He's not The Flash. He's a detective.
He flashes the Flash.
He's I don't know. He plays a detective. Blonde-haired guy, really good actor.
You guys are moving on now.
Yeah, no kidding.
So that was fun. By the way, his food that you brought is really good. I'm very happy with it. So I'm sorry I'm eating it.
That's okay.
Sometimes we have local celebrities in the barbershop.
Like who?
I really don't have a response to that. I was just feeling inadequate for a second.
Well, he's come a long way since those seedy 6-minute movies.
8mm films in his garage.
Uh-huh. Hey, listen, I made a lot of VHS movies with my friends, like karate movies and stuff like that when we were in high school. They were bad, but they were good. You learn a lot from that.
That's right.
So anyway, yeah, we did that. So, Tonya, what have you been up to?
Of course, you'd ask me about it.
That's why time to just right.
I've been eating lately.
Well, I've been making that movie with you, and
Yeah.
I was production designer on it, so I created all the set stuff, and I'm getting ready to be production designer for TV and Vet, so working on getting all of that figured out.
And you're going to do all the art for that movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also, I should point out that Tonya is the first person you see in our movie Feed Up.
Yeah.
Because she's in the intro. We need somebody to walk a dog, and
And
There's
I
a dog
have a dog
important.
and Tonya can walk and has a dog. So
How many times did you have to audition for that?
I only auditioned once.
really, you got the part. It was one of those ones you see in like a black couch, white room.
Mm-hmm.
She walked in like, wait, I'm supposed to walk a dog. Why have I been taking my top off? I'm like, oh, yeah. This is how Hollywood works, sweetheart. So yeah, that was pretty cool.
Sounds like fun.
And you know, we still have our agency and it's doing well, and we're having time.
That's great.
So there's that.
Yeah.
I will say I got COVID. Very mild, like just super sick for like a week and a half. But that was kind of interesting.
He's now a zombie. It's dead, Bill.
You know, I
Ryan,
will say though, the one thing about that is, I feel it did hit my memory. I feel like I still get like foggy from time to time.
So you're actually living Feed Up.
I am.
Nice.
Hence the movie. I'm living the dream. I may be a serial killer. I don't remember.
I may have wrote this script. I don't remember.
But yeah, it was really fun. We just sent it off to his first film festival, so we'll see what happens. We won't hear anything until next year, but then it'll be online for streaming.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that was kind of neat.
Speaking of movies, when you get a minute, are we going to talk about Ghost Humanity 2 and how's that going? And
We got to find more mattresses and Lebanon. That really is 100% just up to us finding locations to do it.
so if anyone has any haunted locations, please let us know.
I have been working with the Find People, my friend Ross, Allison, and the Find People Ghost on making, finishing up a documentary that I was helping with years ago.
That's
The haunted sex one, yeah. It's one where they take naked people and they put them in haunted places and see if people touch them.
Yeah.
Um,
You were naked.
Nobody touched me.
Yeah, Tom. Yeah, you got.
Actually, I got 18 spider bites from my waist down. That counts.
Yeah, because you laid in bed, right? So we went up to the Canadian border. We went up to the Canadian border, and you sleep in the bed. Oh my god!
I don't know if you call it sleeping, but I laid in bed for like 8 hours.
Because you and I remember you and I went to that coffee shop,
Mm-hmm.
waiting for everyone to wake up, and I think you had slept. Is that the night you slept in that old brothel?
Yes, I did.
Did anyone touch you besides the spiders?
Besides the spiders, no. Maybe Michael Jackson.
Did you get any superpowers out of this?
Yeah,
The worst superpower ever.
I can now shoot a tensile web, but it doesn't come out of my hands.
And it only goes about 4.
Well, with that, I think we should jump right into our other weird thing, besides Tom naked sleeping in an old brothel being bit by spiders. And it's our topic today, which is the Beast of Bray Road. Which, if anybody doesn't know about this, there is a small town called Elkhorn in Wisconsin. I have to backtrack a little bit. There's no elk there. And you know how it got its name? Somebody said they were walking through and saw an elkhorn in a tree, so they called it Elkhorn. There's no elk in that area.
It's creative.
So they go, oh, there's an elkhorn in the tree. Let's call this place Elkhorn. Elkhorn, little tiny town, middle of nowhere in Wisconsin.
How do we know it was an Elkhorn?
You know, that's kind of interesting, too, because if you don't have elk there, like that'd be us like walking
So we
around
should
saying,
say
oh, yeah,
Deerhorn.
that's. A what?
Could be Deerhorn.
Well, elk and deer do have very significant
Could be a jackalope.
differences in their. Well, it could have been. We don't know what it is. All we know is that but I wasn't there when they named the town. So, but the way that worked is we saw an elkhorn in the tree and said, that's the weirdest thing ever. So let's call this town that. And towns have got weirder names, but they've been given weirder names for. I mean, the state of Idaho was made up on a fake Native American one. They made it up, and then they found out, okay, time is time. Get on the thing.
We just started.
It's not an origin.
Anyway, so there's a old farm town there, and it's because the Bray family had a farm out there for years and years, so they called it Bray Road. Very clever. They're not very good at naming things, but anyway, Bray Road is this 2-mile long stretch. In 1936, there was a man in his 30s. He was a father, and he was trying to support his family, and he was living near there. And he said that one night in the shadows, he squinted and he saw something digging in a mound, and it looked like a canine, but it was standing on its legs. And he told everybody that story, and everyone went, ooh, and then kind of faded away. So it became this thing of folklore. And then we go back to October 31st, 1991. And actually, I have to backtrack a little bit.
It was
So,
Halloween.
well, no. So,
I was
yes.
Batman that year.
So yes. So actually no. So then the Sun magazine, which is a magazine in Britain, they decided to write this story about it, and because a couple of people had reported that they had seen some sort of werewolf thing, writing off that story. So in 1989, they wrote a story, and in the story, let me get my information on this right now. The Sun wrote about it, but they didn't interview anyone, but they said quotes of people who lived there. They talked to no one.
Oh wow.
But even like people like Jeff Hubbard, who, by the way, told everybody all day long, "There's nothing here," and they used his quote. They quoted him incorrectly. So years later, they go back there. So this would have been in 89. In 1991, after that story pops up and everybody starts hearing it, October 31st, 1991, there was a young lady who was driving down the road that says she hit something. And then when she went to it, it started attacking her and started scratching up her car. She said it was a werewolf. Right after that, when they were interviewing people, there was a gentleman named Jeff Hubbard who said, yeah, she hit my cat. And my cat, like she killed my cat that night, Halloween, October 31st, 1991. Also, that night was on a full moon. I looked it up. So I should
So
backtrack
she
on
hit
that.
a werewolf, and when it died, it turned back into her neighbor's cat.
Yes, it was a cat wolf.
Yeah.
A werecat.
A were-
Wolf.
The werewolf.
Wait, hold on. Is the were part the human part?
Where means man.
Oh, so it'd be okay.
So
Okay.
man wolf.
We're assuming
So
it's
do you
gender.
wear
It's true. Wolf cat? Cat wolf?
That's interesting. I didn't catch that part. I didn't know that.
we
The
talked
where
about it in previous podcasts.
I know.
I don't pay it. Do you remember I had COVID? I have COVID pod. So anyway,
Because we were talking about could you be like a were plant?
Yeah, or like turn it into a beagle.
I'm a were couch.
okay. Well, anyway. So this woman claims that in 1981 that she hit this thing, and then after that, all the stories take off. So obviously, no one's ever seen it. Nothing. No one ever knows.
So wait, the stories take off after she hit it with the car, and they decided
She
it was
goes
a dead
back.
cat?
She goes back and she tells everybody. She actually did a police report and said, "Hey, guess what? I hit this. I hit a werewolf." And
How
it attacked
big is
me."
this cat?
I don't know.
It's the name, I guess. Huge.
I don't know. But after that, then Linda Godfrey, who was an investigative reporter, she's the one that writes the story about it, and then just runs wild because she can sell books and she becomes the historian for this whole nonsense.
Yeah.
I should put a reminder on the beginning of this podcast that I'm the person that doesn't believe in any fucking thing that we ever have on here. So I should leave with that. So basically, when I say that this kook, I should start off with this kook, Linda Godfrey, decides to not only write a bunch of stories about it, she finds a way to monetize about it and starts writing books and things like that and becomes the official expert, the scholar of the Bray Road Beast. And from there, there's been a bunch of, but not dated, but a bunch of supposedly documented cases where other people saw it. Some people claiming that it ran past their car and tried to rip the door off. Some people saying that they just saw it. There was one woman who worked at a bar that said that one night she was driving home and she saw it eating something standing up like roadkill and it just stared at her and gave her a dirty look.
That's awesome.
He was just sipping on a big gulp,
I'm just
staring
gonna
at her.
pin that for later. Pin that for later.
Okay. So anyway, that's it. That's what we're going to talk about the Bray Beast. So I don't know what other stuff that you guys looked at. I will say one thing. If you ever wanted to find out something was complete nonsense or not, Sean Hannity actually did a piece of this on Fox News. So that right there
it
tells
sounds
you.
like Fox News.
No, he did. Sean Hannity took a took a breath, took a beat away from beating up, from basically trashing liberals to attack the Bray Road Beast. So that's
attacked it, or
he just did a piece on it. He actually talked about it. So that should tell you the validity of every story is Sean Hannity talked about it. So I think Sean Hannity is the Bray Road Beast, and that's why.
created a version.
It would be believable. He was just sitting on
It's
the
like
side of the road.
it's like when you walk in a room and you fart, and you look at everybody and go, "Who farted? It wasn't me." That's Sean Hannity right now. He walked into Wisconsin and goes, "Who farted?" Because it wasn't me.
So when exactly does this lore start? Like what year? Is it
1936 was the first time. Well, and actually you can go further back because there are people saying, "Oh, in Chicago there was a talk about this and that." The first documented story that they could find in 1936
But that wasn't necessarily at Bray Road.
No.
That was
The earliest surviving example of werewolf transformation is Gilgamesh.
okay, we'll go into that.
well, yeah, but I was just meaning
2100 BC.
I was just meaning for this one for Bray Road.
this specifically Bray Road.
Well, only because
But like, I guess how far or how close does it have to be to Bray Road to be considered that specific beast? Like, what if there was another one off, like flank?
well, and that's exactly it. So it's Wisconsin, and we're going. I couldn't look this up at all without finding the Michigan Dog Man completely related to it,
Right.
which is kind of funny to me because this is another thing that's supposed to be, I don't know, reportedly happening in 1887, but really didn't come to light until 1987, and apparently only comes around on years that end in 7 for some strange reason.
Like Locust.
Yeah, like locusts. Or what are those weird bugs that come up in the Northeast?
Cicadas?
Cicadas. Right.
That was the same thing.
I don't think so.
No.
But yeah, I don't know. And then the other thing about this is, so this was really only popularized in 1987 by a DJ, essentially, who wrote a song about it.
The Bray Beast?
No, the Michigan Dog Man.
Oh, yeah.
About the exploits of the Michigan Dog Man and how many people have seen it. And then it became popular. So it's kind of like the thing you were talking about with the Bray Beast, where sure, some things may have happened before, but now that we're going to call a bunch of attention to it in the last 20 years, now it's a phenomenon. So, I mean, how likely is that it either doesn't exist and is just made up now, and these two people talk to each other and link to each other, and now one of them, they both, like Bill said, make money? Or is it one thing, like Tonya was saying, these states are right next to each other. It's, you're talking 1887 to 1936, Bill said, 50 years. Would it be gray-haired by then?
And that's, I got it real quick, where people say, like, "Oh, the Loch Ness Monster," or this or that. Why does it have to be just like one? Like, do you really think, let's just say, 200 years ago, somebody finally sees the Loch Ness Monster 200 years ago, and we're like, well, it must still be alive.
Yeah, like they can't reproduce.
Well, also, probably, if there was one, it'd probably be dead.
Or you mean like singularly one? Because that's the other thing. When you look up werewolves, more than 70% of lore about werewolves talk about groups of werewolves or families of werewolves, not lone werewolves.
Especially in Louisiana, that's where they talk a lot about the Lougarou and how they live in the swamps and the surrounding areas and travel in packs.
Well, I mean, the age of things doesn't apply because we currently know that, like, Greenland sharks live to be over 500 years. Like, they're still swimming around and they're still alive and they've been around that long. So could these types of creatures kind of fall into the same category?
Do you think it's because they're a mythical concept? I mean, because here's the thing. Like, traditionally, become a werewolf, you had to be cursed, you had to either be bit by one. Someone said that if you drink water out of a wolf print on the full moon, you become a wolf, right? So, it would make sense that if there's one, there's probably more than one, just because of how interactions with these things work.
Yeah, early Christendom thought you'd become a werewolf just killing an innocent person or a virgin, essentially.
So
murderers.
are there any naturally born werewolves?
Yeah,
Where,
2
like,
werewolves
they're-
got it done.
where they're not, like, they weren't at one point human and became a werewolf. Are they ever just made, like, born as a werewolf, or just already?
So that brings up an interesting question. How are you going to define werewolf? I think we should start with how do we define werewolf, right?
Let's start with that.
Okay, because if you want to talk about really what defined werewolf, early Christendom, all the way back to the Epic of Gilgamesh, you're talking about all the way up through the Greek era. Those werewolves are generally curse-laden werewolves. And then later, the Christianity, like Catholicism took over and it turned into devil-type werewolves.
Well, I want to stop you there, too, because I remember there was a group of werewolves, I believe it was in France, where when the church went to try to kill them, that they basically said that they were the wolves of God, and that God had given them these abilities, and that they were actually going around from place to place killing evildoers or demons in the name of God using their abilities.
Like werewolf boondock saints?
Essentially, yeah. They were called, I think they were called the dogs of God or the wolves of God or something.
The reservoir dogs of God?
But yeah, it's a really interesting concept if you think of it, how there are several different ways to become a wolf. I don't know if you guys have heard of Peter Stump. Have you heard of him? In 1589, he was actually killed because he called himself a werewolf. But the way he became a wolf was he was a serial killer and went around killing a bunch of people's kids.
Yeah.
And he said that the wolf did it, and he was actually tried and killed as a werewolf.
So didn't he admit to being a
Hold
wolf?
on. When was this?
1535 to 1589.
The Bedburg werewolf.
He was tried as a werewolf,
Mm-hmm.
which means there are a specific set of rules and judgments regulated towards were-people or.
They said that he experienced a grisly execution after confessing under torture to savagely killing animals, men, women, and children, eating their remains. They killed him like they would kill an animal instead of giving him a proper death.
Well, can you imagine though if they gave him okay, we're giving you you killed those people, we're giving you 50 years, dog years, and then he's like, well, that's because I'm a werewolf, and they let him out.
Well, and here's the other thing. So I read this. This is straight up from Wikipedia, so you know it's accurate. The accusations say during 1589, Stump or Stub or Stu or however he's got 8 different aliases. Had one of the most lurid and famous werewolf trials in history. And then it said once he was tortured, he confessed to practicing black magic since he was 12 years old. Claimed that the devil had given him a magical belt or girdle, which enabled him to metamorphose into a likeness of greedy, devouring wolf, strong and mighty, with eyes great and large, which in the night sparkled like fire, a mouth great and wide, with most sharp and cruel teeth, a huge body and mighty paws. Removing the belt, he said, made him transform back to his human form. And they never found the belt, but that's what he said, under torture.
Under torture, under duress. That's just when they keep somebody up all night and say, when you convince everybody, or you attack this woman, I didn't do it, you're so sleep deprived, you go, yeah, I did it, can I just go home?
That's an awful lot of adjectives to just throw out there on your own.
Well, it sounds like the saga of Volsungs in the Nordic religion, where they believe that this father and son found wolf pelts that if they wore them, they became werewolves for 10 days, and then the pelts fell off. So it's while they were wolves, they couldn't control their appetites, and they killed a bunch of people, and then after 10 days, it would fall off, and they would be human again. It's pretty interesting.
So even if that Stump guy wasn't a werewolf, he totally deserved to die, because otherwise he was. And this actually goes hand in hand. Most of the time, you're going to see in early history people being accused of being a werewolf. It goes hand in hand with cannibalism charges. So he was charged also with cannibalism, incestuous relationships with his daughter and possibly sister, and they were all killed together. So
wait,
he was a terrible guy.
He killed the daughter?
No, so
they killed the daughter?
No, so he had incestuous relationship with the daughter and possibly his sister. And then it says later on that they were both strangled and then burned along with his corpse once he was done being put on the wheel, broken.
So he strangled them, or
no? The village people strangled them because they were accomplices.
So I looked up that werewolves and gods.
Werewolf accomplices. We're accomplices.
So it's the Dice of Kaltenbrunn, a Livonian werewolf. They said it was in 1692. When he was in his 80s, he openly proclaimed that he was a werewolf and that he and a group of other people who were also werewolves ventured into hell to do battle with the devil and his witches. And that they claimed that he was the Hound of God. and the judges deemed him guilty of trying to turn people away from Christianity, and he was sentenced and both flogged and banished for life from the church.
So they're kind of like the opposite of hellhounds. They're like hellhounds.
Okay, but Greek mythology has, I'm going to get this slightly wrong, but one of the gods, Lycan,
And Zeus.
and he tried to feed Zeus's, he like cooked Zeus's kids.
No, he cooked one of his own kids.
I thought he cooked one of Zeus's kids.
No, Lycon had 50 kids.
It was Lycon's son.
And he killed one of them and decided he was going to feed him to
He had that
Zeus
many.
and see if Zeus was going to be actually all-knowing and see, do you know that this isn't Tartar and this is actually my son?
This is very good. What did you
Son
make? What's the
tartar.
recipe? Not my son. And then I got your son. Ha ha. It's like tricking somebody to eat glue. And then, and then he turned into a werewolf. So there's that story too. Yep. So I guess we can go a little deeper. What exactly? Because there's a lot of reasons or a lot of ways that people will say like this is how a werewolf can be. What exactly in your mind? And I'm going to go with you, Ryan. What actually is a werewolf? Let's just say, and I'm not going to say whether you believe one in them or not, because obviously you believe them, you're insane. So I just want to say what exactly.
Well, I'm not necessarily insane, but I've seen something that made me question the reality.
I know what it is. You told me.
You
No, it's in me in the shower.
He's recently been waxed, though. So.
And you told me the story, and I do want you to tell that story. But I want him to know his thoughts about what exactly is a werewolf. Go.
I think a werewolf is any type of individual who, through some sort of shape-shifting calamity, has become a wolf either by transformation of the moon or magical ability, curse, whatever. Just anyone who has the ability to go from human to wolf form.
So when you say ability, is it controlled just by moonlight?
So, no, there are some people in some wars that believe that it can be controlled by the moon. It can be controlled by like trauma, or like if they're in a dangerous situation, or if they have the ability to control it, it becomes more like a totem at that point, and they can use it as a magical ability, if you will.
Okay. Tom?
I think werewolves are a convenient escape monster for fear. And honestly, that's what we put the most heinous crimes, and that's what we've chalked the most heinous crimes in humanity up to. I think a lot of people relate these to early serial killers in human history, and you can make a direct relation now. When you talk about, so a couple minutes ago, you were talking about how, hey, we're going to feed this son to Zeus, and Zeus is going to get super pissed. It's weird. Now I'm going to make you a werewolf. And we talk about guys even in the 1920s or even during World War I that we know killed people and possibly made them into different meats and gave those meats and sold those meats to their neighbors and friends. How is that any different than Lycon? So it's not. And when we went and described these people, when we found out their heinous crimes, we called them demons. We called them, werewolves. The most heinous things we can think of, because you can't make them people. That's just scary.
Yeah, when the scary thing is something that could be next door.
Yeah, so scapegoats, escape monsters. That's what werewolves are. Escape wolves.
Okay, so now we're going to talk about movie folklore. And people say certain things like a silver bullet. Why a silver bullet?
Well, let me ask you this. Why do you think silver affects werewolves?
It also affects vampires, and I don't know.
Purity.
I'm not a silver doctor, and I don't know the answer to this one.
So I'm not going to get into the vampires thing at the moment, but in alchemy, a branch of magic where they're trying to essentially turn one metal into gold, each metal is associated with a particular celestial body or planet, and silver is the one associated with the moon. The moon is the one that gives werewolves their ability to change and control them. Therefore, it's
Great she-wolf.
So basically what you're doing is you're encapsulating the great she-wolf into a bullet, and you're shooting them with it. That's why it's supposed to make them weaker or able to be killed. But that actually comes from a story.
Do you have to put like an incantation on the bullet? Do you have to be spiritually in tune when you make the silver bullet, or can it be mass produced out of China?
Well, it helps if you know what you're doing. You know.
I mean, I don't think I'd want to play
And
Yeah,
knock off.
especially if you have to use it.
It's Cupid's Zirconia bullet.
Yeah, it says silver with a B. Is that still okay?
Yeah.
Which we also considered getting some Coors Lights, but we just
Could bring
bring
ourselves
ourselves
to
to buy them.
We thought we really did think about it. It was just too much.
Well, not enough.
Yeah.
It's up to you.
So the real concept for this is back when the beast of Jevudon in the 18th century, the guy who killed that wolf he used silver bullets. That's what he shot with.
So purposely, in that story,
Yeah.
he said, "I'm going to get silver bullets and kill them."
He
It just didn't happen. Like he wasn't like the Lone Ranger and just used silver bullets.
Well,
Right.
you also have to include, though, that the Beast of Jevudon was also commissioned to be killed by King Louis XV. He commissioned the military to go get him. He commissioned these two special people to go get him. And then when all of that failed, he got two renowned wolf hunters to go get him.
So when it failed, did it fail because they couldn't find them,
They just
or did it
couldn't
fail
find
because okay?
Well,
I didn't know.
it did say that the guy he initially sent almost shot him, but failed due to the ineptitude of his people. Which I don't understand, unless he's like, give me the gun! He's right there!
Well, what's really interesting is when they were doing the research on this wolf, they actually combined alchemy, like what we talked about, and science, because they believed that werewolfism was a curse of the blood, and silver at the time was considered to be like an antibiotic. So they thought that it would help release the bacteria of the curse, and the fact that it was also a magical metal. They thought, hey, 2 and 2 will kill this thing. So that's where the lore really comes from, is the fact that not only is it a magical spiritual element, that they thought that it could also maybe cure this bloodline if they didn't kill him and just maybe grazed him or something.
That also isn't the only way to kill a werewolf. It's just the most dramatic Hollywood love way to kill a werewolf.
True.
Yeah, well, I mean, there's a movie called Silver Bullet. A werewolf. By the way, we should do a podcast one night on how to kill every type of monster.
With random random things.
Well, just like if vampires and everything have to be killed a certain way.
But we should figure out if there's ways, like, if the supernatural apocalypse happens tomorrow and you're at home, what household items do you have that could save you from ultimate death?
I just watched the Monster Squad. I know how to answer these questions.
Grandma's silver knife.
Well, I don't know. Like, I mean, we could go like into zombies and things like that, but we're not going to right now because we're talking about the wolf. All right, so now I'm going to get back with all that information right now, and I'll get back into the Bray Road Beast, which is supposedly a hairy, very tall, 200-pound.
It's very specifically described as the face of a German Shepherd, but not a German Shepherd. And
The body of the cat.
it's like between 5 feet and 7 feet, or like 4 feet and 7 feet, I think, at different points.
4
what
feet?
else?
That's pretty short.
I think it's depending on how like it was
That's an
there.
actual German Shepherd.
Yeah, right.
It's a Vern Troyer werewolf.
Which, I mean, is very valid. Have
Well,
you ever seen a dog with mange?
A little person can get big, and
Oh,
there
that's
could
true.
be
Like
dwarfism.
if they're, if they're like
I've seen
little
dwarf.
people that are werewolves.
Yeah,
And no offense, because I'm not scared of them, but I've met people who, like, little people scare the shit out of, and I think that would be funny. It'd be doubly scary for some people.
It would be like, have you seen?
It'd be like Leprechaun almost.
Yeah. I was going to say, it'd be like Leprechaun and Chucky.
Yeah. Man, I think we have a movie coming.
That would be fun.
Sorry, our dog.
she had a sticker on it. She got it off.
So the different ways I read that you can kill a werewolf, or not exactly kill a werewolf, but foil a werewolf supposedly. So any weapon enlisted.
I thought you were going to say foil, like you just put
tinfoil
foil on
werewolf.
it. I was waiting for that.
Silver color.
If I put this hat on, that werewolf will
Well,
get me.
It's silver-esque, so I don't know if you could just be like it's like chewing on foil and it goes, this sucks, and
Oh
it dies.
no, the fillings in the
Yeah.
werewolf. That's how you can tell who it is. It's the dental
Yeah.
fillings. No,
Okay,
any
so
weapon,
how
it
else?
says.
How else can you fill a werewolf?
Well, it says that they're only supposedly in some lores as strong as a wolf when they're a werewolf. They don't have like a lot of extra strength or anything, so you could hit it and kill it like you would kill a wolf with anything. And then these other ones I don't really understand because they didn't come with explanation. But cold iron,
Well, iron. Okay,
Wait.
Go ahead.
Hold on.
I was going to explain.
Yeah,
Oh,
he
do it.
knows. Ryan knows everything.
He does. It's a little weird.
Well, iron is considered to be a spiritual metal as well, right? It's the idea of that's where iron fences came, where they would keep things away.
I hit that thing with an iron straight off of the fireplace. Why a cold one?
Well, it's not cold in temperature; it's cold in how it's made. It refers to the way that the metal is produced.
Oh, you mean beaten into form cold without any heat?
Right.
Gotcha. Okay, so it says drawing 3 drops of blood will revert the vampire into a person.
The vampire or
who's
werewolf?
Or werewolf. I mean a werewolf. The werewolf's blood. So I don't know exactly how you get 3. Well, yeah. So if you slash the werewolf, you're screwed
I don't know
because that's
that
a gush
What
of
if,
blood.
what if it's 4? What if you're like, oh, that was one too many?
What if it's 2 and then you have to run up and squeeze the werewolf? And then so it says a rusted key, which again I don't understand. Did you jab it 14 times?
I
with the
think
key?
maybe keys in that time were made of iron.
And then this is my favorite: calling a bite's Christian name will stop a werewolf.
The idea is,
If I know who you are, you caught me.
well, in Christianity, the name of a lot of things takes place because there's a hierarchy when it comes to God and everything below it. The idea of knowing its name gives you dominion over the entity. That's why if you ever watch any exorcisms or anything like that, they always ask the name of the
I
demon.
watch them all the time.
I'm never going to tell anyone my name again.
So once,
I just tell them my name is Tom.
Rumpelstilts what? I didn't catch the last part.
so it's
Go
like
ahead.
once they find the guy behind the curtain, they can make him give them all of the stuff they want.
Essentially.
Okay.
And it's also one of those things, too, where other than spiritual blackmail, essentially, is what you're talking about.
Spiritual extortion.
Yeah, there's different plants, and like white oak is considered to be repellent towards shapeshifters. There's wolfsbane, which is a type of plant that is said to make werewolves weak, so that you can kill them even during the full moon.
What do you do with it? What do you do with wolfbane? Like,
So
you just,
typically, you make it into a tincture.
a what?
A tincture.
A what? I like that you said it again like it was going to click. Oh, you mean like I'm wearing right now?
Yeah.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
A tincture is where you take an organic material such as wolfsbane and you macerate it and place it in macerating to
Thank
crush
you.
up.
Like
Okay,
squish
You
it. a
masturbate
bunch.
that wolf's vein hard.
Wolf's vein, is that what you said?
That's what I said.
Okay,
So,
so you
and then
jerk
you-
off a wolf.
Yeah, and you basically macerate the wolfsbane into alcohol and you leave it set until it actually makes a tincture, which is the result of it basically saturating the oil with the organic properties of the earth.
So you buy a wolf a drink.
You don't make them drink it necessarily.
And then you slip it a Mickey.
Wait, so then what do you do?
You place it on your weapons or your bullets, and that's how you inject them with it.
So
So
what
that just weakens them, or
It does. So the whole concept would be, think of it as
you had a 1-1 poison counter.
exactly.
so I mean, I feel like the most effective way would be like grenades out of that, just knock them at them,
Holding
and then
hand
just
grenade
like
of Antioch.
go and like just poke them with something.
So
Yeah.
what did you say it was called?
Wolfsbane.
So you want to get that and not Wolf's Zahn, which is Wolf's Tooth or St. Anthony's Fire.
Same
Right.
concept.
Is it?
Uh,
Well, that's the
wait,
stuff
what's
that gives you.
St.
Saint
Anthony's
Anthony.
Fire
That-
sounds like something you get taken care of.
St. Anthony's Fire, right, was a great movie. So St. Anthony's Fire is another name for ergot disease or ergotism. And that happens when certain molds grow in
On corn.
on corn, on rye bread, on different things that were staples in France and all of Europe during the 14th
Which is
and
what-
1500s.
Caused the Salem witchcraft trials.
Yeah.
You guys
So
know
essentially, that's what they were trying to label this as: is all of the hysteria and hallucinations that were witches and werewolves were all caused by mold, I guess.
Well,
Which a lot of people don't believe, because mass hysteria is one thing and taking a bunch of LSD is another thing. But not everybody sees the same hallucinations.
well, the thing about eudaimonia poisoning, I think it makes you susceptible to hallucination. So if we both had it and you said, look, there's a werewolf right there, I'm going to see it too.
Oh, planting seeds.
Exactly. From their wolf's vein.
Look at that wolf right there. He's so hot.
So, is there any chance that the Beast of Bray Road could be just the weird-looking Bigfoot?
There's corn up there. Oh wait, I'm sorry. I thought we were going to hallucination. That's actually a thing that people have discussed. They say it's a. My favorite thing I read. It's a different strand of Bigfoot, which I never. But people are just like, why do old Bigfoot have to be the same? Not all people look the same.
So that's funny because I was actually going to bring that up as a bit of a theory. I was going to say, you know what really solves the whole problem of Bigfoot is Bigfoots, because Werefoots. If they're people, that's why we don't find any scat. That's why we don't find any bones. We don't find any burials. Like, you don't see them most of the time because they're just having a bad day and then they're having a hangover as a human the next day. You know, like after being Bigfooty.
So would they be Bigfoots turning into humans?
No, they'd be humans that turn into a Bigfoot rather than like a werewolf. And here's the other thing. That goes back to the definition of werewolf. So werewolf is generally just monster. Before werewolves, some of these stories existed and they were more like ogres. And then they turned into witches. And now we call them serial killers. So really, what is werewolf except for another name?
Imagine this, though. It's a Bigfoot that got bit by a werewolf. And now Bigfoot and full moon turns into a big wolf.
Copyright.
A wolffoot?
A wolffoot. Werefoot?
I think it's a werefoot.
He turns into a werefoot.
That's better than,
Whoa, we should call it footwear.
There we go.
Copyright.
He turns into a footwear. And at night, like, that's why you don't, because he runs down and then, yeah, he turns into a werewolf.
Yeah. They caught him with his footwear sponsored by Nike.
What if werewolves are just the pets of Bigfoot? Bigfoot
footwears?
It's like they have animals too, but they'd be super hairy.
You know, it'd suck though if you were a Bigfoot that turned into a human, and then during the full moon you had to work at Arby's. You know how shitty that would be. Like you're just hanging out in the woods.
It's not the direction I thought you were going with this.
And then like you wake up and you have to go to your stupid 9-to-5 job.
Curly fries.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. Oh, yeah. You turn into, like, you don't get to do human things and run around and do stuff. You just have to go to work.
Yeah, because that's how you got to pay your bills.
Because if we turned into something, we would just cause havoc and run around and be crazy.
Right.
We would just be running around and kill things or bite or whatever. Like, if we're a werewolf, we just cause havoc. But yeah, if a werewolf then turned or Bigfoot turned human, they just have to go to work.
Yeah.
And pay tax. Like,
that sounds like an
tax. I got this report I got to do by morning before I turn back. I got to get this quarterly reported. This sucks. Look at my little stupid small feet. This is dumb.
None of my feet, none of my shoes fit.
Can you imagine the opposite of that? I get to that werewolf goes to his werewolf family. No, seriously, once a month I lose my hair.
That'd be a good barber joke. That's funny.
I think I'm in. I think this is a really good movie.
That would be hilarious, man.
So Tonya bringing this back up, which is true. Which how does this connect to the Bray? I think it's nonsense to the Bray Road thing, and I don't know what your thoughts are on this. And,
well, I didn't know about the Bray Road that they just kind of made up news stories about it. Like I thought that they actually interviewed those people.
There was there were people who had told stories about it, and then the Sun wrote that article. They came out front page article about a werewolf in Wisconsin, and quoted people that they never talked to. And after that, the story blew up. Then you have the girl in 1991 who said, "Oh, that I hit one and attacked my car on Halloween," which she probably just killed like a small child in a costume, and then buried it.
We talked about that with your.
And then they talked to that guy, and he goes, "Dude, that girl hit my cat and killed it." There could have been a really big cat. I don't know. I've seen big cats, and she could have been high. It's Halloween. She could have been drunk or high and high.
4-foot cat. It looks like a German Shepherd.
I don't know. We still have to talk about your story, which we're going to end this on. But Tom, you had something.
No, I was just going to wonder if we're going to talk about our favorite werewolf.
Yeah, let's do that. And then I'll tell my story.
Well, okay, so Bray Road. I want to. This is what we're supposed to be talking
The
about.
Bray Road thing is just junk. It's just
I
junk.
think it's junk too. It's actually a point of tourism. Like people drive all the way out there this 2-mile stretch and drive up and down it, and they go at it at night.
And why do you have to be scared in the 21st century of werewolf? We have AKs and ARs and cars. We could just fucking run that thing over.
Did you not?
Because those things are real, and this thing isn't, and what is real is kind of scarier.
So I need to put a silver spike on the front of my car?
You should.
Well,
Just
I mean,
wash
That
your
was my
car.
takeaway.
Just wash your car in Wolfsbane.
And put some wolf vein on it or something.
Come over here, Wolf. It's only going to take me
let's
5
get a
minutes.
Wolf's
I
Bane
need-
air freshener.
Oh, there you go. I need 3 drops of your blood.
Yeah.
Oh, that's 4. Oh, it's rude.
It's sort of.
All right. Favorite werewolf? Go.
The Beast from Beauty and the Beast.
Oh, that's a werewolf?
It
Yes.
completely follows everything that would count as a werewolf.
But he stayed. He
He's
stopped.
been cursed into a
Oh,
monster.
Okay, so there's one other thing that can kill a werewolf then, and it's true
True
love.
love.
It's true love. Add that to that. True love.
Although I don't think anything really got better. So it's actually a monster story. Because nothing subjectively
And
got
then
better
after
in
that,
town.
Belle got some wolf vein after that,
Some
right?
wolf vein. Yeah.
All right, Tonya, favorite.
Yes. I'm
Mine's easily American Werewolf in London. That's a guy, just one of the best movies ever. Scared the crap out of me when I was a kid. And Ryan.
What about that Monster Mash movie?
Oh god, no, that's terrible.
No.
That's the one Tom brought up, the kid one.
How about Scooby Doo? Maybe. There's a
Scooby-Doo.
werewolf in there.
Teen Wolf.
Oh, no, they're not. It wasn't a werewolf. There's never a werewolf. It's always the guy that's running the abandoned.
Scooby-Doo and
It was the guy that.
reluctant werewolf.
Yeah, and you know who it ended up being? It ended up being the guy running the abandoned amusement park, and they rip it off afterwards. And he goes, "I would have got away with it if it wasn't for you,
Mr.
Madeline
Robinson.
kids." Yeah.
Fine.
So stop. It's
How did-
never a ghost. It's always some old guy.
How did Teen Wolf become the werewolf that is
Teen
in
Wolf.
the 2021? That's
Yeah,
that's the one they remade.
Yeah.
Fucking Teen Wolf.
It's actually pretty good.
Really?
The TV show?
Colton watched it. And
Do you
it
know
was
at the
not
end-
bad.
At the end of Teen Wolf, one of the extras flashed his nuts. In the end of the movie, at the scene where they're all walking down the stands, like when he shoots the basket, and they're like, "Yeah, they win." And then, not kidding, it made it in the movie. One of the extras flashed his nuts, and it made it in the movie.
Are you sure it was his nuts he was trying to get and not giving the dog a bone?
He could have been doing that, or his wolfing. All right, so Ryan. Before we end this, I want you have a story. You have a story related to this. So.
Yeah, so I've talked about a couple cemeteries before. This is the one in rural Missouri.
Told you.
Yep. And I was with a group of people. There were 4 of us together. We were in my car, and we were leaving. And the way the cemetery is set up is there's 2 pretty tall hills, and at the end of the hill, and it goes back into the countryside of this town. Well, we were leaving, and we were in between those 2 hills, and there looked like something bent over, like a farm dog eating something in the middle of the road. And we got closer to it, honked the horn, and never moved, got really close to it. And we were about 3 or 4 feet away, and I started flashing my lights and honking my horn. And it did stand up on its back legs and walk off the side of that road. And I had never seen anything else like that before.
That's all that makes a werewolf. Like a wolf that stands on back legs. That counts.
And I mean, I've seen dogs walk on their back legs like that, but usually it's prompted.
Yeah, my mom had a little lost ops walk on his back legs, and it didn't look like a werewolf. It looked like a little Ewok.
Ooh, that's my favorite werewolf.
Yeah, which honestly still scares the shit out of you in the middle of the night when it's walking towards you.
So it's just being on its back legs that makes it
Yeah, because it
fall
wasn't.
into that category.
Chewbacca
It was
is
just-
a werewolf.
Exactly. That was
No.
Oh, Bill is drawing a line.
Are you gonna say Ewoks are?
That's what we just said.
But no, they're not. No, that's not the case. I'm sorry, it's not the case.
No,
Chewbacca's
they
not
could
a
be the
werewolf.
miniature werewolves we're talking about. They're vicious Ewoks. Fuck them.
Yeah, I just. And it was only like 5 foot, 6 foot tall. It wasn't like crazy big or nothing. It was very strange behavior.
Well, that's the thing, right? Shouldn't they only be either the size of a wolf or the size of a man? There's no reason it would be like twice man size or 8 feet tall.
unless it falls in the Liger category where it basically is greater than the sum of its parts.
So it's like wolf plus man, like wolf grafted onto the back of
Yeah,
man.
so if it's like wolf and then man, it's like this, like on top of each other.
So he's like the Mighty Morphin Power werewolves. Sorry, Bill. Don't look at me like that.
No, I'm listening. I'm thinking like Voltron, where they all just piece it together.
I
So,
wish you
okay.
guys could have seen the look of absolute disdain.
Yeah,
on
I
his
don't.
face.
I thought.
No, I was
back
just
for
looking.
next
I
show.
was just looking.
That was pure
Listen.
disgust. He was still pissed. He called a Ewok a werewolf.
It's the wear thumb of Voltron. Oh, and it's a full
That's
circle.
the thumb of Voltron. You have to go how many episodes to understand that reference?
Yeah, I don't know.
Actually, I don't even. You have to go so
Episode
far
3.
back that I don't even get the reference anymore. I just know we talked about the thumb of Voltron. So
Yeah.
that's another story.
I think it was the shapeshifter episode.
It might have been. Oh, that's perfect.
That's where the weird plants came in.
And
That's
the
true.
workout.
All right. Well, I think we've gone nowhere tonight. It's probably with that is the best time to end it. So, it's been a year and a half. We're still trying to figure this shit back out again.
We're still treading water.
We're still treading water, but I'm going to call it. I'm going to say this was a good episode. Tom only spilled one beer beforehand,
All over my shoes.
And then he spilled some on his shirt.
Did you? Well, I was cleaning up the floor, and he's like, "What about my shoes?" I'm like, "I'm not cleaning your shoes. I'm cleaning the floor." He's like holding his foot up. Bill, my shoes. Can you please get my shoes? Anyway, I think it was good. I'm always blown away how much information you guys have. Like, I just bring something up, and I don't think you're gonna know, and then you just talk about it for 15 minutes. And I love
We're
that.
supposed to be the experts.
Yeah, by no means am I. So with that, so we're back. We're going to start doing this probably every 2 weeks right now. I think is what we'll look at doing. We do have an Instagram now, and I will probably have to cut this out, but you know that you created 2 Instagram accounts.
They did?
Yeah, there's 2.
No, there 2. I only created 1.
There's 2.
Do you know if you actually edit this, it'd be the first time you said you're going to edit something out of an episode and actually edit that?
No, I've done. Well, I generally don't. I was going to edit it out, but I go, no, I'm going to leave it in there.
How are there 2?
I don't know. I just looked, and there was 2. There's 2. There's 2. So anyway, go on.
Good like them both.
Go on there. Find our. Do we have a Facebook also?
I don't have Facebook.
There
was a Facebook.
is Eat, Drink, and Be Scary podcast.
And we have a Facebook.
We do?
Okay, so there's Eat, Drink, and Be Scary, and then there's also
All right. So with that,
Eat, Drink, and Be Scary.
Oh, yeah, the
so
original
are you
Eat and Be
using
Scary,
two-
Eat, Drink,
so are
and Be
you using
Scary.
2 Instagrams?
That's the other thing. In the last year, there's been
Yes.
another podcast crop up called Eat, Drink, and Be Scary, and those goddamn imposters are not us, so don't listen to them.
Well, I reached out to them and asked them to change their name. They were like, "Sure."
Oh, good.
A
We
while
should
ago,
have them on the
like
show.
a year ago.
They just add a comma.
All right, so I'm going to cut everything I just said. I'm going to say, hey, follow us on Instagram, and then find us on Facebook. But listen, if you have ideas for shows, we'd love to hear about them. Also, whatever you listen to, whether it's Stitcher or iTunes or Spotify, whatever, you guys should subscribe. That's creepy. What am I hearing?
Yeah, there's definitely.
It's a ghost. There's a ghost.
Uh-huh.
All right.
And besides that, so I think I'm going to call it. So anybody thanks for listening. We'll be back in 2 weeks. What was that?
I think that was our
Door?
little tiny werewolf that we call our dog.
The paranormal dog.
No, the dog reacted to
It
it.
sounded like it was coming from like right there.
All right, well, we're going to go check it out.
Okay, yeah, good
Also-
time to end it now.
Yeah, if you guys heard that laugh, I'm going to play it back.
Yeah,
I
if
just,
we don't
seriously,
come back,
like,
it was a
I
werewolf.
mean, we are in a 100-year-old building,
In the basement.
in the basement of a 100-year-old building, so I'm not going to be shocked if like something creepy happens right here.
And I
So-
just spilled beer all over it, so it probably isn't happening.
that laugh like freaked me out. I have to listen back on this. All right. Anyway, so that's it. Thanks for listening. Welcome back, everybody. Excited to see you guys again, and we'll be back in 2 weeks. All right. Good night.
Bye.